Hello and welcome to One TV Global News, coming to you live from Megaband 97.3 FM. I am Esther Chimize. First, the headlines. River State Police Command arrest officers for land grabbing extortion. Court sentences Uduak Apan to death for the murder of Inubong Umoren. UK court adjourns alleged organ harvesting case involving Senator Ikweremadu. China condemns maniac visit as Pelosi's continues tour. The news in detail will be right back after this commercial. Thank you very much for joining us. Now the news in details. Operatives of the River State Police Command have arrested some suspected policemen who pretend to be working for senior officers to aid suspected land grabbers who harass, intimidate, and extort property owners in Cedarwood Estate, off Sars Road, Rumagolu Community, Obio Akpo local government area of the state. Operatives of the different tactical units of the command with over 15 trucks acting on the orders of the Commissioner of Police, Friday Eboka, stormed Cedarwood Estate on Wednesday and raided a building reported to be the camp of the police personnel on the illegal operation. 4 police officers and their civilian drivers were arrested, while a patrol van without a plate number belonging to them was impounded, though some police personnel and civilians escaped. Some landlords of the estate said their decision to petition the Inspector General of Police and the CP over the matter was due to the incessant invasion of their properties, harassment, intimidation, and extortion from the security personnel. They also accused the officer of reselling their lands after forcefully grabbing it from them. Justice Basi Ikanang of the Akwa Ibom State High Court has sentenced Uduak Akpan to death by hanging for the murder of Inubong Umoren. Umoren, a graduate of philosophy, University of Uyo, was killed while jump hunting in April 2021 as she awaits mobilization for the compulsory National Youth Service Corps NYSC scheme. Uduak's father, Frank Akpan, and his sister, Anwan Basi, second and third accused, were discharged and acquitted. Finding Akpan guilty of rape in the over 2-hour judgment, the judge said the prosecution has proved beyond doubt the case of rape and murder against Mr. Akpan. After the judge read out the judgment, the convicted rapist attempted to escape from the courtroom but was overpowered by security officials. Recall that when the convict first appeared in court on July 26, 2021, he pleaded guilty to murder but not guilty to rape. The Central Criminal Court in the United Kingdom has adjourned the alleged organ harvesting case involving Senator Ike Ikweremadu and his wife Beatrice. The couple are facing charges bordering on conspiracy to arrange, facilitate the travel of another person with a view to exploitation, namely organ harvesting. A third individual, Obinna Obeta, who is a practicing medical doctor in London, appeared alongside the duo. A pretrial is scheduled in October 31st when the ex-deputy Senate president, his wife, and Obeta are expected to appear in court. No application for bail for the senator was put to the judge, and there were no signs of the lawmaker's adult children during the trial. Beatrice Ikweremadu, however, remains on bail, which she was granted on July 22nd under strict conditions. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has named Senator Dino Malaye and Dr. Daniel Bala as spokesperson for the upcoming presidential campaign. Their appointment was contained in a short statement by Atiku's media advisor, Paul Ibe, who said their development is with immediate effect. Meanwhile, the All Progressives Congress APC has announced Plateau Governor Simon Lalong as Director General of the Bola Tinubu Campaign Organization. APC Chairman Senator Abdullahi Adamu disclosed this to State House correspondents after meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa. He was accompanied by the presidential candidate of the APC, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, vice presidential candidate Senator Kashim Shettima, and Lalong. The chairman also announced Festus Keyamo as the interim spokesman and Anatu Musawa as the deputy spokesman. The national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Senator Inyocha Ayu, has boasted that they control the Heartland states in Southwest and that the party's candidate, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, will win the presidential election. Ayu, who stated this at the party's national headquarters in Abuja during an interactive meeting with the National Working Committee, NWC, and former National Publicity Secretaries, State and Zonal Publicity Secretaries, and other key stakeholders, said the party's publicity management is formed based on the realities. He stressed the need for the party to maintain relationships formed on realities with the Nigerian people so that they can be trusted in future elections. Meanwhile, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, the All Progressives Congress national chairman, has urged party members to close ranks and work as a team to ensure victory in the forthcoming general elections. Adamu made the call while speaking with newsmen after inaugurating the 8-member Abia Reconciliation Committee. He said ahead of inaugurating the committee, comprehensive meetings were held between the party's leaders in Abia. Adamu said that they were involved in negotiations and its national working committees, especially during its primaries and after it. Adamu expressed optimism that the inauguration of the committee, there would be peace in APC Abia. Away from that, the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has resolved to reconcile the presidential candidates of the party, Atiku Abubakar, and Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike. Speaking after a closed-door meeting at the party's National Secretariat in Abuja, the board resolved to begin the reconciliation process from Atiku's residence. The BOT also commended the party for the victory in the Osun governorship elections and urged the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to build on their success to ensure credible elections in 2023. Wike is expected to back Tinubu in the 2023 general elections, but indications have emerged that the Rivers State governor is unhappy after being passed over for the party's vice presidential ticket. With 2023 elections ahead, the senior pastor of the Dunamis International Gospel Center, Paul Eneche, has cautioned against rigging. Eneche declared that rigging will not work in the season Nigeria is entering. He disclosed this during a sermon at the church headquarters, Glory Dome in Abuja. The clergyman also urged officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) to resist the urge to manipulate the results of the next general elections. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission says it will apply laws, particularly the Electoral Act 2022, without fear or favor to ensure free, fair, credible, inclusive and transparent elections in 2023. The INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, made this known in Abuja. Yakubu was represented by Professor Abdullahi Zuru, National Commissioner and Chairman, Board of Electoral Institute. Yakubu assured Nigerians that INEC has no preferred party or candidate, but shall only ensure that all valid votes count and the winners are decided solely by the voters. The chairman said that as the 2023 general elections drew near, it was imperative for all stakeholders, especially the political parties, to note the major features introduced by the new Electoral Act 2022. He also advised party leaders to note the possible implications of these changes on the upcoming elections, saying the happenings that accompany the recent party primaries attest to this. In the meantime, the resident electoral commissioner, Independent National Electoral Commission, Dr. Asmau Sani Maikudi, says as of August 1st, women constituted over 50% of voters who have registered during the continuous voters registration exercise across the country. The REC, who spoke during a one-day sensitization and enlightenment meeting with women contestants and other stakeholders in Kaduna, sought massive support for the 35 women vying for elective positions at state and federal levels ahead of the 2023 general elections. She then asked women to support one another as the surest way to success in the 2023 general elections, leveraging on the number of eligible voters to file register to participate in the elections, and quickly added that the newly registered intending voters will get their permanent voters card by October. In some other news, the industrial dispute between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, may worsen following the insistence of the Federal Ministry of Education that its proposed agreement with the union will not be binding on state universities. The spokesman for the Federal Ministry of Education, Ben Gong, in an interview explained that the federal government could not dictate to states on education as it is on the concurrent legislative list. Recall that a committee led by the Pro-Chancellor of the Federal University of Lokoja, Professor Nimi Briggs, had reportedly recommended a 180% per rise for lecturers, but the government was said to have favored a 100% increase. Meanwhile, the ASU president, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, insisted that any agreements reached with the federal government will be binding on the state, thus opening another battlefront between the union and the government. You're listening to Megabar 97.3 FM News. We'll be right back after the short break. Thanks so much for joining us, and back to global news. The senator representing Cross River Southern Senatorial District, Gashom Bassi, has confirmed that the impeachment plot against President Muhammadu Buhari is real. In an interview with journalists in Calabar, Bassi said, however, emphasis should not yet be on the impeachment, which is the second part of the notice to the president. He said they want to impress on the president to act swiftly within 6 weeks, which is the first part of their threats. The federal government has confirmed that it approved the purchase of vehicles worth 1.4 billion naira for neighboring Niger Republic to tackle insecurity. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, gave the confirmation on Wednesday, explaining that providing intervention to the neighboring Niger Republic is not new, and it is the prerogative of President Muhammadu Buhari, who approved the purchase. According to her, President Buhari, whose actions she cannot question, has the right to make his own assessments of situations and give directives accordingly. She added that the financial support, which is primary to the purpose of enhancing capacity to protect their territory, based on the request by the Nigerian government, is also in the best interest of the country. The Vice President, Yemi Osibanjo, has suggested ways in which Nigeria can tackle the current security challenges in the country. Osibanjo said Nigeria's current security challenges and emerging threats requires the country's military and other relevant stakeholders to be several steps ahead of perpetrators, while also stepping up local production of armaments. The Vice President said this after receiving a presentation on defense transformation and national security, strategic options for Nigeria of the future by the National Defense College course. 30 participants late Wednesday during a virtual interaction. Osibanjo added that, in quote, "It is clear that given current realities in our security situation, there is absolutely every need for us to fast forward all our plans for the future so that we can be much more effective in dealing with the current threat and the threat that we will experience as we go into the future." Meanwhile, Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom has unveiled the state's security outfit known as Community Volunteer Guards. He pledged that his administration will legally procure AK-47, AK-49, and other sophisticated weapons for the group. Ortom said that 500 personnel drawn from the 23 local government areas of the state were recruited in the first batch. The new recruits were unveiled during the passing out parade held in IBB Square, Makurdi. The governor expressed optimism that the unveiling of security outfits will improve the state, stressing, in quote, the issue of banditry, kidnapping, robbery, and most of all, the issue of terrorist Fulani herdsmen attack would be reduced to the barest minimum. End of quote. He assured that operations of the Benue State Community Volunteer Guards will be strictly guided by the law, and warned that any personnel found operating outside the said law will be shown the way out forthwith. AstraZeneca, the federal government of Nigeria, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency and Population Services International Nigeria, has announced the launch of the Healthy Heart Africa program. This marks the 9th country to join the program since 2014, following Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Ghana, Uganda, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, and Rwanda. The Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Osage Ehanire, as the Federal Ministry of Health said the ministry has the vision to reduce the burden of NCDs in Nigeria and to strengthen the health system for the delivery of equitable services through the essential package of health services. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC) Limited says it's made 147.36 billion naira from the sales of petrol and diesel in October 2021. It announced this in a tweet via its official Twitter handle, adding that the white products comprise 1,098.17 million of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, and 2.84 million liters of automotive gas oil, also called diesel. It said the sales were contained in its monthly financial and operations report for October 2021. The oil firm used to publish its monthly report on its website, but has stopped it for some months now. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, has raised Nigeria's crude oil production quota for September 2022 to 1.83 million barrels per day, as Brent, the global benchmark for crude, dropped in price the same day. Data obtained from OPEC showed that the 13-member organization increased Nigeria's oil production quota marginally from 1.826 million barrels per day in August to 1.83 million barrels per day in September. This came in industry figures seen in Abuja indicated a drop in the cost of crude oil as Barrett fell by 2.36%, shedding $2.37 to close at $98.17 per barrel as at 5:10 p.m. Nigerian time. It was also observed that crude oil grades in the OPEC basket dropped in price, losing $1.94 or 1.82% to close at $104.86 per barrel. And you are listening to news on Megaban 97.3 FM. And still ahead, China condemns many visits as Pelosi's continues tour. We'll be right back after the short break. Thank you very much for joining us in our foreign scene. China's foreign minister has called U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan maniac, irresponsible, and irrational. At a meeting of Southeast Asian countries, Wang Yi defended China's military drills in the seas around Taiwan held in response to the visit. Pelosi made a brief but controversial stop on the island on Wednesday during a tour of the region. China reacted by launching its biggest ever military exercises in the region. Pelosi is the most senior U.S. politician to visit the island in 25 years. Her decision to stop at the island has enraged Beijing, which considers Taiwan to be a breakaway province of China. Meanwhile, a top U.S. official has called China's military drills in response to U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan irresponsible and warned of the danger of the situation spiraling out of control. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, in an interview with National Public Radio, said Beijing has geared up for military exercises encircling Taiwan in retaliation for Pelosi's visit to the democratic self-ruling island that China considered parts of its territory. He urged Beijing to de-escalate tensions in the Taiwan Strait. In sports, the Super Eagles of Nigeria will take on former European champions Portugal in an international friendly in September. The three-time African champions were earlier scheduled to face the Justos of Guinea-Bissau in a 2023 African Cup of Nations qualifier in September, but the double-header has been shifted to March 2023 by the Confederation of African Football, CAF. NFF wants to take advantage of the FIFA window and make sure the Super Eagles were kept busy following the postponement of the qualifiers. Super Eagles head coach Jose Peseiro is involved in the arrangement of the friendly. An official statement is expected from the Nigeria Football Federation and Portugal Football Federation on the date and venue of the friendly. It will be the first time Nigeria and Portugal will be meeting at senior level. Both countries have made tries at the under-20 level, with Portugal winning all 3 games. In our entertainment news, 2 Nollywood actors, Cynthia Okereke and Clemson Cornell, recently abducted in Enugu State, have been released. The Actors Guild of Nigeria has confirmed their release in a statement signed by its Director of Communication, Mona Lisa Chinda Kuka. Mona Lisa said the kidnappers released the actors because they were, in quote, touched by the Spirit of God. The guide urged actors to ensure that adequate security was in place while on movie sets. And that will be all for now. Before we go, let's take a look at the major stories. Rivers State Police Command has arrested 4 officers for land grabbing extortion. Uduak Akman sentenced to death for the murder of Inubong Umoren. United Kingdom court has adjourned alleged organ harvesting case involving Senator Ekwerem Madu. China has described Nancy Pelosi's Asian tour as maniac. Thanks for joining us. I am Esther Chimize. Do have a lovely evening.